Today I'm sharing with you everything you need to know about Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement, and we're also going to take a look at what the costs are with both options. If you're not quite familiar with what a Medicare Supplement plan is, an easy way to remember what it is by remembering that it's called a Medigap plan. So it's going to cover that other 20% that original Medicare, Part A and Part B, doesn't cover. Before we dive into exactly how Medicare Supplement is going to cover you, it's important to know that all these different Medicare Supplement plans are organized by letters. So as you can see on this chart, there's several different options when it comes to Medicare Supplement. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to only focus on Plan N and Plan G. Now before we head over to the whiteboard to see how these plans are going to cover you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I put a lot of time and energy into these videos, and it really goes a long way when you do that, of pushing it out to more people just like you. Now let's first take a look at Medicare Supplement Plan G, because I believe it's the most cut and dry and easy to understand. So like we said before, the Plan G is going to cover that 20% gap that Part A and Part B comes with. If you take out a Medicare Supplement Plan G, you can typically expect a premium of $120 to $200 a month, depending on where you live. In some places across the country, they may be $120, or they may even go up to almost $300 a month. So it's important to look at the prices in your specific area. With Plan G, you can also expect no copays. It's gonna pay that 20% in full. The only thing that you will have to pay on top of your premium is a one-time a year, January through December, $240 deductible. But once you pay your premium and that deductible, you have 100% coverage no matter what. I always like to use this example. Say you got diagnosed with cancer and you had $1 million worth of cancer bills. If you had a Plan G and you paid your premium and that deductible, you wouldn't pay anything else for the whole year. With Plan G, you can also expect to not have any doctor networks. All Medicare Supplement plans are what they call non-network plans. So you don't need a referral to go to any specialists. It's between you and your doctor. It's also important to know that about 92% of all doctors and hospitals accept Medicare Supplement. So you won't have any trouble finding a doctor. Medicare Supplement Plan G is not going to cover anything on prescription drugs. So if you take a Plan G out, you're going to have to go out and get a separate prescription drug plan to cover your medications, which typically costs between $10 and $15 more per month. The last thing I want to highlight about Medicare Supplement Plan G is that they don't cover any extra benefits. So you won't have any dental, hearing, or vision coverage. But if you guys are interested in that, you can go out and get a separate plan to cover those services. As you guys can see, Plan G is a very comprehensive, and you can see why it's so popular going into 2024. Now let's take a look at Plan N. That's the second most popular supplement plan going into 2024. If you take out a Medicare Supplement Plan N, it's going to be very similar to a Plan G, but there are a few differences that you're going to want to know. If you take out a Plan N, the premium is typically between $80 to $200 a month, again, depending on where you live. I've seen some as low as $70 or some as high as $300 per month. This is where Plan N differs from Plan G. There are going to be a few copays that you're responsible for. So say that you go to your primary care physician or you go to your doctor's office, it's going to cost you a $20 copay. Or if you go to the emergency room, you're going to have a $50 copay. And then just like the Medicare Supplement Plan G, you're also going to be responsible for that Part B deductible, which is $240 going into 2024. Plan N is just like Plan G. You're not going to have any doctor networks. So as long as you go to a doctor that accepts Medicare assignment, then you're going to be 100% covered. So even on Plan N, you're not going to have any trouble finding a doctor that takes it. Also with Plan N, they don't include drug coverage. So again, you have to go out and get a separate prescription drug plan to have your medications covered, which is about $10 to $15 more per month. Plan N is also not going to cover any extra benefits, just like the Plan G. So you're going to have to go out and get a separate plan to have those services covered. The last difference that I want to go over with Plan N is that it doesn't cover the 15% excess charge. So say that you go to a specialist and they don't accept Medicare assignment, or in other words, they don't take Medicare's payment in full, You may be responsible for some extra costs. So for example, say your specialist visit was $400. Well, your original Medicare, Part A and Part B, are going to pay 80% of that. So they're going to pay $320 of that bill for you. And then, assuming that you met your deductible for the year, the plan in is going to pay the other $80. But since that specialist doesn't accept Medicare assignment, you could be responsible for 15% of that $400 bill, which would cause you to be out $60 for that visit. There are two other things that are important to know about Medicare supplements. The first is that every Medicare supplement that has the same letter covers the exact same way. For example, if you took out a Medicare supplement plan G with Aetna, it's going to be the exact same coverage as a Medicare supplement plan G with United Healthcare. Whatever company you go with is not allowed to change how they cover things. All they're allowed to change is how much they charge for their plan G. The second important thing to know when looking into plan Gs or plan Ns is that whatever company you go with can decide how much they charge in rate increases. So all these different supplement carriers are allowed to change their rates each year. So one company might take a 10% rate increase when another one takes a 2% decrease. And from my experience, the bigger the name of the company, the bigger the rate increase. Okay, now that you understand how Medicare supplements work and the cost that goes into them, let's take a look at your second option, which is Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage plans are also referred to as Medicare Part C plans, and they're ran and sold by private insurance companies. So if you decide to take one out, you're no longer going to refer to your Part A and your Part B or your original Medicare. The Advantage plan is going to take over your original Medicare and start charging you co-pays when you get things done. Let's go take a look at the whiteboard and see exactly how these plans will cover you. If you take out a Medicare Advantage plan, you can typically expect to have a premium of $0 per month. It's not going to cost you any extra than what you pay to Medicare. But you're going to have to pay co-pays when you get things done. So you may have a $35 specialist visit copay or a $300 one-night stay in the hospital copay. But you get the point. You don't pay up front for it, but you pay as you go. With Medicare Advantage plans, you're also going to have certain doctor and hospital networks that you have to stay within. They have two different types of network plans. They have a PPO and an HMO Medicare Advantage plan. The PPO stands for Preferred Provider Organization. And if you take one of these out and you go out of network, you're still going to be covered, but you're going to be covered at a higher cost. So you're still going to want to make sure and stay in network, even if you take out a PPO Advantage plan. The HMO stands for Health Maintenance Organization. And if you go out of network on an HMO Medicare Advantage plan, you're not going to be covered at all. So you're definitely going to want to stay in network with an HMO Advantage plan. They're also going to come with built-in prescription drug coverage. So unlike Medicare Supplement, where you have to go and get a separate drug plan, it comes built in for free at no extra cost with Medicare Advantage. Advantage plans also have extra benefits built in for free as well. So dental coverage, hearing coverage, vision coverage, it's all going to come built into your plan at no extra cost to you. The last thing I want to highlight about Medicare Advantage is that they have what they call a maximum out of pocket. I tell everybody, think of it like a ceiling. So say the maximum out of pocket on your Advantage plan is $3,900. Well, you know in a calendar year from January through December that you can't go over that $3,900. And the only way you even hit that $3,900 is by either paying co-pays when you get things done, or if you get diagnosed with cancer, any cancer treatments, radiation, chemo, anything like that is going to refer back to original Medicare. And you're going to have 80% coverage, meaning you pay 20% of those cancer bills up until you hit that $3,900 maximum out of pocket. Now, I'm sure if you're not living under a rock, you've probably heard from a brother or an aunt or an uncle that Medicare Advantage plans aren't good. You should stay away from them. Never get one. In my personal opinion, I've helped several hundred people in the last couple years get onto Medicare Advantage plans and Medicare Supplement plans. And with my experience, they are both really good options. Some people like the idea of not paying anything up front and just having co-pays when you get things done. A lot of people can save a lot of money doing that. But if you're someone that prefers to pay up front and know you're 100% covered and you don't have to mess with any bills, then Medicare Supplement Plan G is probably a good option for you. Or you might find yourself in the middle ground where Plan G is a little bit too expensive for you, but you don't want a Medicare Advantage plan. then Plan N might be a better option for you. Whatever you do, don't worry about it. I don't believe you can make the wrong decision. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. I have a passion for helping as many seniors as possible understand their Medicare benefits and have a stress-free retirement, and you subscribing does a huge service to pushing this out to more people. And let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Do you like Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, Plan G, Plan N? What's your favorite Medicare option? Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.